whom we can take across explaining. There are too many leaders. This is the problem. So it is very difficult to think of such an approach to become a practical thing in a democracy.
So are we saying that this? See, I'll tell you why this is so crucial, and we've been into it on a daily basis, working with so many companies for their projects. The development of the port infrastructure and the maritime sector is very much linked to the industrial development in the country, and industrial development and the agriculture development, they are again very much linked. Coastal cities like Mumbai, Chennai, Calcutta, there is a large service economy. Either it is finance or it is software, IT, which is also part of these. So development of cities is extremely important. So at the city level, at the industry level, a facilitating growth environment is critical for development of the country as a whole. And so we see there are a whole lot of institutions, especially on the financial side, on the debt side, equity side, who are very comfortable participating in this growth. But when it comes to the setting up of the projects, getting the things through, it looks all murky. I mean, I've heard so many times that so many payoffs have to be made to the government sector to get the environment clearance. And why we are getting into those things? Why can't we have things which is clean, which is much better than why? I mean, this corruption is where when things are not very evolved, when things are not very transparent. So what is it we have to really do to make sure that so much of investment comes in very rapidly into the sector, which consequently will improve? Like telecom, last 10 years the investment is really, the experts say that almost 2% of India's GDP growth rate has come on account of growth in telecom sector in India. Now we feel maritime sector growth could also add as much percentage in the GDP growth rate. I mean, if we are talking of 9 or 10% growth rate, and in spite of recession, if it's going down to maybe 7, it could still touch 10% if we are able to develop the ports, develop the connectivity, develop the infrastructure, which is all land-based and sea-based. So it is so crucial to have there is a money available. There are projects which are very viable from a logistics angle, but somehow this particular process is impeding the growth. So we have to do something Sir Vani, would you like to say from a financier angle, how can you take a lead in some ways? And
see, first of all, the financial system likes everything to be in a systematic order. I mean, nobody would want, as a VC, or even if you take it from the stock market point of view, to invest somewhere where there is a little bit of haziness or murkiness. If you look at it carefully, initially when the first, I'll give you the example, first shipbuilding IPO came out, it was valued at 5-6 times P, which was very cheap for that time. But when the next one came out on a basis based on stability of the previous IPO, it was valued at 15 times. So typically confidence comes from past experience, and somebody, be it a port or be it a logistic unit or be it shipbuilding, needs to take initiative. So from that point of view, even the VCs are in the same boat. I mean, but unless you have systems or you have framework, it's very difficult, because how do I decide as a VC or as a market participant that this is safe, this is not so safe, unless I have a parameter or a methodology to see what is allowable and not allowable. So issues need to be cleared, and I think with time issues will get cleared, and especially with more projects happening. Project specific will continue to happen, but more or less I think the market will go by example, and one needs to put in the examples rather than just wait for framework to happen. One needs to keep on proceeding, and the units which happen will become a framework, and then we can go forward.
Yeah. Actually, there's a very interesting research which we did around a year back. We found that today IT and telecom put together, they were at that time also, and even now I'm sure $100 billion each in terms of market cap. We did some forecasting based on the overall country model and the logistics as a percentage of the overall industry, and there again what percentage of logistics will be in the organized sector, and within that how much listed companies, etc. we came with a figure of $400 billion for logistics in terms of the market cap by 2015-16. Now that's, okay, even if it's not 15-16, we were talking of another 2 years, that's a huge number that we are talking of. I mean, which is double of what IT and telecom together. So from now, where the total sector's valuations, market cap, if you talk of logistics sector, all the 25-30 companies which are listed, would be close to maybe $20-25 billion. And so next 10 years or so, that would become 20 times more. That's what happened in IT, that's what happened in telecom, and this is likely to happen because as the Indian economy grows, the whole thing is going to become very, very big. Now this includes the railway infrastructure, the roads, the port terminals, and some of the IPOs which have happened lately show that there is a very large, like Mundra IPO opened at a $10 billion level, and there are 12 major ports and there are multiple minor ports which could be very similar. In fact, JNPT, if it gets listed, it will be probably 5 times more than its prime land that it is sitting on, and the value compared to what is Mundra. So at some level, there is a large level of growth, there is a large level of potential which is possible. But on the other side, the flip side of that is we don't have a framework which is useful. Unlike telecom and IT, which is purely at the intellectual level, there is hardly any infrastructure at the ground level requirements. But most of this infrastructure requires, and if we don't do it, we will cut short this development process. So now I would like the floor to really give their ideas and really, because if one achievement from this particular conference or conclave that we can have is to arrive at a sort of a ideal framework which could really make things move forward. And it affects all of us. I mean, it's very important. Today's mobile, like so much coordination happens through mobile, and it's just imagine if all of you don't use mobiles for a few days, what will happen? I mean, it's impossible to live with that. It's become so much part of our daily working life. So, and which is what the maritime sector, the port, shipping. I mean, we can get goods from all over the world. We can supply. The whole country can get into a very revitalized mode. The way the Netherlands, the European, some of those European or East Asian countries have really prospered from development of their maritime and industries and service sector. So we need to come out, and we are really the people who are in the core, and we still don't have a solution. So I would like the people on the floor to really talk about how do we prosper, how do we create wealth in a clean, transparent, honest manner, in an inclusive manner which encompasses so many of these issues. Mr. Kulkarni, would you like to, representing the shipping?
Yeah, sorry, before Mr. Kulkarni takes the floor, just one point I wanted to make with your permission.
Sure.
Yeah. Just, I also wanted to bring it to your notice that, we all know it, but just to reiterate it, that we should also see the opportunity cost of protecting the environment. For example, I do not know, sir, how big is your project? Say it is 10,000 crores or something like that, reverses, and then inflation is about 10% today. So every year we delay it, we lose 1,000 crores. Every day it comes to maybe 3 crores on that, whatever. Now, with that 3 crores every day in our pocket, if it is not delayed, can we not, improve the environment in that region, invest the same money? Also, we have seen from experience what happens in Europe, what happens in America, that more prosperous the region becomes, more conscious the people become of environment, more they can, in the hierarchy of needs, the environment does come into play, and then they are obviously living in a much better environment than what we are living. So really, that balance also has to be kept in mind, when we are talking of the concerns about the environment. Obviously, none of us are against the environment, but that has to be seen. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, but actually in continuation to what you said, I fully agree. I also want to add that many times we treat these environmental concerns as bottlenecks to development, and we don't convert that into an opportunity. There are whole host of opportunities ahead. The same concerns can actually be converted into a business opportunity. Just to give you an example, you're talking about the telecom and the IT sector. Okay, when there was a boom, the boom also brought in its negative in the form of